Hello friend, thanks for joining me for another video blog. Today I want to speak about this crazy psychological war that is happening all over on the news, reputable newspaper, like writing tons of articles, blaming people who are doing this with their bodies versus people who are not doing this with their bodies, people who are choosing X versus people who are choosing Y. There is tremendous blaming each other right now, and it seems like it doesn't matter what side you are, you're gonna be blamed for something, right? Criticized, judged by something. So we need to address this blaming. I want to address blame today because number one, blaming is a form of psychological attack. When we're blaming an individual or a system or a group of people, we are psychologically, energetically, we are attacking them. It's coming from a place of anger, frustration, and a lot of times coming from a deep place of fear. And a lot of people have a hard time, they just say, I'm just angry. And a lot of times, anger and fear are very, very entangled. So without going too deep, so I can keep this video about 10 minutes, blaming is basically a way of venting and making somebody responsible for our own discomfort, again of anxiety, worry, fear, anger. So the problem of blame is that when you engage in that conversation or the think of blame, you might have, especially speaking, you might have an illusion of relief, that by doing that, by venting in judging and criticizing somebody or a group of people, because there's a lot of energy, that you might find a sense of relief. And it's not really what's happening in your physiology. What's really happening in that moment is basically three things. More, but I'm going to summarize here. Number one, by doing that, by putting that energy on blaming, you are putting more fuel into your own anger, into your own fear. And the worst part, maybe also increasing somebody else's state of anger and fear and anxiety. So it doesn't serve you and doesn't serve the other person. So number one, you increasing that state of negative emotions, that charge of those emotions. Number two, when we blame, we are choosing to be powerless at that moment, because the moment you blame somebody, or again a group of people, for your own discomfort, that something is happening, you actually taking the power away from yourself. You putting your energy, your attention, your power into that external entity, and that basically presupposes that you disempowered. So blaming is a great way, blaming is a great strategy to actually feel very disempowered, like you're not responsible either, and that is not a great place to be. Okay. And number three, it makes us stressed out. When you are in the place of accusing, of attacking somebody, you actually turn on your stress response. Your brain at that moment is going to a fight, flight, or freeze, because blaming, again, is instead of attacking. And for the brain, attacking only means one thing: fight or flight or freeze. That's biology. So you actually becoming stressed out, you producing a lot of stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, that in the long term cause harm for yourself. So in that psychological attack, in that state of stress response, three major things are happening. Number one, and this is a big one, you are lowering the strength of your immune system. And let's talk about that for a second. In the state that we live in right now, when there is this very potential virus, very strong variants of this virus going around us, paying attention, taking care of our immune system, it is the most important thing we can do for health, for our well-being, and for the health of others. It's caring for your immune system. So going into blame and being stressed out is actually the worst thing you can do for your immune system. Number two, you are decreasing your brain function, because in a state of stress, in a state of fight or flight, your lizard brain is taking over. And with that, the prefrontal cortex, which is our executive brain, or it's where our intelligence is where common sense is the place that we can practice open-mindedness. Being open-minded to other people's beliefs, being open-minded to other people's beliefs. And right now, there's not a lot open mind happening. Why? Because most people are stuck into the lizard brain, to the stress response. So it's not a great place to be. It's a place that we cannot really connect with others, because we cannot accept other people's beliefs and opinions and ideas. It's a dangerous place to be. And number 3, being in the state of blame, it's robbing your energy. It's an energy leak. So all this energy that is feeding anger, that is attacking, right? Because your body is going to feel very energized to attack, because that's what's happening biologically. Your brain doesn't know the difference between you being chased by a lion or you're in a state of blaming somebody for your own discomfort. The brain doesn't know that. The brain only understands threat, attack, protect. So when the energy is going to fight, it's robbing all your energy, it's robbing your vitality, it's robbing your creativity that could be going towards your purpose, your passion, your goals, connecting with others, play, exercise, put your energy in your relationships. So it's actually, again, causing tremendous harm on your own well-being, on your body, and sometimes, and I'm going to say this with a lot of love and respect, causing harm around those around you, because you might start becoming very negative, being in that state of blame. So what is the solution? Because we all blame. Doesn't matter how much we meditate, how many yoga classes you take every week, how much breath work you do, we all very human. So this is how we can eliminate blame and remove this unnecessary stress out of our brains, out of our bodies, out of our psychology, out of physiology. Number 1, you need to be aware. You need to slow down. If your life is too fast right now, it's too chaotic, you need to make a decision. You need to make some lifestyle modifications, make some new decisions, and slow down so you can be aware about your own state, about your own words, about your own thoughts. And you cannot do that if you're living in a stress response. If you're running from a lion, there's no time for personal growth and spiritual development, right? So you need to slow down. You slow down, in that moment you catch yourself blaming, pause, create a gap between that trigger and the response, the stimulus and the response. Take a few breaths, create a pause, and make a choice. In that pause, in that gap, make a choice, respond differently, because it is in that moment that you have an opportunity to become somebody else, to go from a person who blames to a person who is empowered, from a person who attacks to a person who simply observes, from a person who judges and criticizes, from a person who is more neutral. We can do that. That's personal growth. That's emotional intelligence. That's emotional growth. That is the spiritual development. That's what I teach my clients every single day, and I teach myself every single day. So create a pause, awareness, breath, the gap, make a different choice. Always choose empowerment. Empowerment for you and empowerment for others. Number 2, in the state that you're very uncomfortable and all these emotions are brewing inside you, you never want to suppress your emotions. You want to learn from them. If you catch yourself in that state and those emotions are not going away, even after you paused, you did the work, ask your body, ask yourself, what are these emotions teaching me right now? Identify the emotions. Fear is usually 99% of the time, fear is behind attacking, behind blaming. Think about it. We would not attack, which what blame is, unless we are in a place of fear. We would not attack unless also we're in a place of anger and we are feeling a sense of threat. So ask your emotions at the moment, your fear, your anger, what are they there to teach you? And you might learn that you've been carrying fear and anger your whole life. Maybe you had some trauma in childhood that is unresolved, emotions that are unprocessed, or maybe it's just a trauma from this pandemic because you lost your job, maybe you got sick, maybe you lost your friends, maybe you became anxious or depressed. So maybe you have unprocessed emotions from this whole year that was very hard for many of us. So maybe you find that there is some baggage there that you need to deal with, and that's why you are feeling so hot, so charged up with those emotions. So learn what they're trying to tell you and then take appropriate action. Which leads me to the third strategy here in the solutions, which is learn how to self-regulate. Self-regulate is basically, it's a step towards empowerment. It's knowing when you are in that state, what is it that you need to do to neutralize your emotions more so they don't cause a harm to yourself and to others. What do you need to calm yourself down, to bring more, again, to neutralize more those emotions? You need to do some breath work, you need to take a bath, you need to go swim, you need to take a walk, you need to maybe have a conversation with a coach, with a therapist, a friend. What is it that you need? Be with your dog, be with your cat. You need to know yourself. Like that, one of the most important quotes, in my opinion, is know thyself. When you allow yourself to experience the emotions and allow those emotions to teach you and learn how to regulate, you are strengthening your emotional intelligence. You are promoting more emotional growth, and that's a spiritual path. So that's what I recommend that you do in order to start eliminating the addiction of blame. Because blame is an addiction. I watch our society doing this. I watch people doing this. I erase a bunch of people on my Facebook because they addicted to blame. So we must terminate this addiction. We must interrupt the pattern of blaming, because again, it's hurting your well-being, hurting the well-being of others, and it's not doing any service to humanity, because we all live in this planet Earth. We have the same home, and we need to learn again how to talk to each other, how to listen to each other, listen to different ideas and beliefs, and hold a space of calmness, a place that we steady and stable. It's just hard to be in that place when we carry baggage from the past. That's why healing your own traumas, letting go the baggage, letting go limiting beliefs is so important, and having a daily practice that will help you to regulate your emotions so you can be in a place where your mind and your heart are open. Because when our minds and our heart are open, we don't blame. We listen, we observe, and we accept a different opinion. And I know it's hard right now because there are a lot of other forces happening right now that I'm not gonna get into it. Today the conversation was about blame. So thank you. I hope this video served you, and please share this video on your social media channels, email your family, email your friends, because it maybe can help somebody else in your own circle, in your own community. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to be with you again. Have a great weekend. Mwah.